honestly, I wish I bought it before I gave birth. Making sure it's all comfortable. Definitely going to be your best friend. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. I wanted to do a sort of follow-on from my 4th trimester recap. I have been asked multiple times, what did I use postpartum? Because in the lead up to the birth, I did post a few videos on basically organisation and doing the many baskets. I think I did a breastfeeding basket, a nappy caddy for downstairs, and I also did a postpartum basket. But today I wanted to go through what I used, what I didn't use, what I loved, what I hated, but most importantly my postpartum absolute must-haves. If you are new here, welcome. We are very honest over on this channel, and I do have like a series of videos talking about my first week postpartum, my birth story, recently my 4th trimester. And if you haven't watched any of those, just in a very small nutshell, my birth ended in a forceps delivery and I ended up with multiple tears. So I had a 3rd degree tear, I had a manual cut, and I also ended up with it's classed as a 3B tear, both internal and external in the butt. So I came away with multiple tears. I did also tear in my cervix as well. So yeah, you can imagine what type of recovery I needed. There are a few things that I just found was really helpful. I'm so glad, because obviously in the lead up to pregnancy you don't know what your birth is going to be like. Obviously you have preferences. Mine was definitely not to have a forceps delivery, however that's what it ended up being. Without further ado, let's get on into the video. So following on from the birth and the many tears, downstairs was actually it was very numb for the first, I would say most of the first month. And although it was very numb, I still had the achiness. And during that month, I found that I couldn't really sit in a certain position for too long, or stand for too long, or even lie down for too long. I definitely found that I had to sort of like balance it out with a bit of everything. But 2 things that really helped. One of them is massive, and it's got me through my entire pregnancy and also post-birth as well, and even now I still use it. But it's sort of like okay, you can definitely hardly see this, but it is quite big. It does fit in a chair, and it sort of has natural armrests and a back. And I found that this really helped, because for the times that I just couldn't sit as I am now, or if I couldn't lie down, I would sort of have to like slouch on the sofa, and sometimes like just slouching on a plain sofa is just not ideal, or even 1 or 2 cushions. During pregnancy it really helped with my back pain, and then obviously post-birth it just helped me get a little bit more comfortable, take that weight off of down below and just have it all resting in my arms. So I'd always put pressure in my arms as opposed to putting pressure down below, because it was just very uncomfortable. This pillow I still use because it's cozy. I feel like if I were to get rid of it, I would want to replace it straight away. And then the other sort of cushiony thing that really helped, especially that first car journey home, and that was the donut pillow. Oh my goodness, this was such a lifesaver, because the journey on the way to the hospital, although to be honest most roads there are multiple potholes, and the last thing you want to do when it comes to just giving birth is go over multiple potholes, because it's really uncomfortable. This helped so much, and I found that I still used it like in month 2, and yeah, it's just really comfortable. It doesn't put any pressure on your, you know, intimate areas, and yeah, it just relieves any pressure that you would have had if you didn't have it. Moving on to month 2, when the numbness slowly started to wear away and the itching began. Oh my goodness, I've never known itching quite like it. It is unbearable to go from constant numbness, can't feel a thing, and complete and utter achiness. Like, the achiness stayed, the itching, oh my goodness. And I thought to myself, this is the perfect time to use the padsticles that I made. I absolutely hated the padsticles because I just felt like it was a little bit too messy down there, especially with postpartum bleeding. And obviously it would just melt straight away and it would make everything wet down there. And you know, at that point you're just like, have I wet myself? I'm not even sure. So the 2 things that really helped was the high-waisted simple black pants. They were a godsend, and I just put a usual like everyday sanitary towel on there. I have no idea how to pronounce this, but this is the organic post-birth relief spray. This was absolutely amazing. So I would either spray this directly onto the area, or I would spray it onto the sanitary towel so it was less rough and more soft. And yeah, I found this really helps. I obviously did not need to use all of it. I've only used a quarter of it, so I feel like they definitely give you way too much, or maybe I just didn't use it a lot. Just the ingredients in there, it just sort of helps relieve the area, and it adds the slightest cooling touch, so it's all pleasant down there. And yeah, it really helped. And then the one thing that I went on Amazon and I bought was the cooling pads. These are actually covered, there's beads in here, and you can use them in the microwave as a hot, like a heat pad, or you can put them in the freezer and use them as a cooling pad. What I'd do for 20 minutes is just sit on the sofa on my donut pillow, and I had this in between my pants and my joggers, and yeah, all you need is 20 minutes. I think that's all they recommend anyway at a time, and it just helped for those intense and insane itching moments, because yeah, it was just absolutely unbearable, and that paired with the achiness was just absolute no go. And then I suppose, talking about the other intimate area, laxatives are definitely going to be your best friend. I was prescribed 2 different types due to the fact that I had internal and external tears, and the fact that I was on medication like iron supplements, which is known to do the opposite. And then talking about other essentials that I really needed post-birth that isn't necessarily talking about the intimate areas, is snacks and water. Oh my goodness. I am personally breastfeeding, and my thirst and my hunger, I feel like, has been accelerated. I am nearly 4 months postpartum, and still to this day I am thirsty all of the time. I am hungry all of the time. I have breakfast before I have breakfast. I would recommend a water bottle. I did buy this post-birth, like my sister gifted this to me, and honestly I wish I bought it before I gave birth. It's got a built-in straw, and I think it's a litre bottle. Honestly, I get through this during the night. Snack wise, personally, breakfast bars, protein bars, any sort of bars that you can again open with one hand and just quickly munch on for that extra release of energy and protein. I would 100% recommend. And then the last thing I would really recommend, honestly, I bought a lot but I didn't use a lot, and I just went minimal with what I actually needed, is comfy clothes. Don't even bother with any sort of structured clothing. Even to this day, I still wear my maternity leggings because they are the most coziest leggings I have ever owned. Oh, they are so cozy, they are so buttery. And also joggers, but joggers that are not too tight around the waist, because you have a lot of obviously deflating to do in the stomach area, and the last thing you want is something tight around there. And I would say that even though month 3 to 4 is the stage for me personally where I would sort of get back to the state of I now bloat again. Joggers, anything oversized or comfy, or you know, loungewear, anything like that, 100% recommend, because 9 times out of 10 I would be so tired that I would then sleep in those clothes. And then just quickly to end off the video, there are some things within my postpartum essentials that I just didn't need. However, I think it's down to my personal birth story and my personal situation. So the one thing that I bought straight away off the bat was the Peri Bottle, because I heard that obviously your first week can really sting, and having a Peri Bottle can help just dilute it and let it sting less. But because my urine needed to be tested, my first urine, I was not actually allowed to use the Peri Bottle, but I just found it so fiddly, and water wouldn't actually, you know, go upwards. I just found it a waste of a product. I just found that that was one of the products I did not need whatsoever. So yeah, that is pretty much everything that I needed postpartum wise in order to help me get a little bit more comfortable, in order to help relieve any itching that I had. Any advice in regards to make sure you're proper stocked up on snacks, and to make sure you get a really good water bottle, and you know, cushions, clothing, making sure it's all comfortable. In all honesty, I did really not need much. Do comment down below what really helped you postpartum wise. Maybe it can help someone else in the comments. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please do give it a thumbs up if you did. If you haven't already, please do subscribe, as I would love to have you join the family, and I will see you next week in a brand new video.